Hey there, folks. I'm Matt Hansen,
And I'm John Johnson.
and you're listening to
Planes, Trains, and Comic Books.
the podcast where we discuss favorites we've reread, both classic and new comics we want to read, and everything else in between.
And here's the comic we picked this week.
Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Planes, Trains, and Comic Books. Today we are in the middle of our Halloween spooktacular extravaganza. Hopefully you are catching our extra episodes, those Jason Friday the 13th ones.
Heck yeah.
And enjoying them. But as part of that, we're also doing, scary ones.
Spooky, scary, weird.
Yeah, weird.
Horror, crimey, like all in that vein.
Yeah,
vein.
For Halloween, for our main episode. So, like I said, today we read Babyteeth, which is by one of the most popular. I don't know. It goes back and forth, but
it's a name that a lot of people know.
He's definitely the most popular Marvel writer right now. His name is Donny Cates, local Austinite. I have not met him or anything, but
no, but he's welcome to come on if he wants to have a quick interview. We can do
sure.
Do an episode sometime. I don't know. I think an Austinite's perspective with other Austinites in the comic world, I think it would be good for both of us. I mean, he's an up and comer, so
yeah. I mean,
it can only be good for both of us.
I'm sure we could be good for him and us together.
So if you're listening, John.
Yeah, Donnie, you like us? We know you do. Yeah, give us a little email.
Shout out.
Yeah, shout out. Join us on this, comic book journey. We'll talk about it and stuff. But anyway, enough of that bullshit that's not going to happen. So this is by Donny Cates, who is a really, really well-known author nowadays. He's kind of known as like the fun, like author. He's like the new Rob Liefeld or something. Like as far as like he brings the excitement. No one like, at least for me, this is how I see him. And others might vary as far as the way he writes. But for me, he is like, he brings the excitement, he brings the action, he brings the fun, and that's what he brings. Like, to me, there's no, like, deeper than that. Some people think he does do deeper than that, like his Venom run, which we read some of already.
I really like the Venom run.
I enjoyed his Venom run, too. But to me, I'm like, I don't care about any of this, like, whatever deeper lore he's trying to set
I will disagree, because I liked like learning, like, because we knew that the symbiotes are from space, but we didn't know as much about it. But like, I like that there was like a whole planet, and then there's like Null the king, and I
get you. I understand. Just to me, it doesn't hit me in that way.
It's a fun. So like, Donny Cates to you is like summer popcorn flick. Towards me, it's like it's starting to feel like it might go the realm of like maybe he's writing like the next Lord of the Rings. Maybe it's in his like back pocket.
Wow, I don't know if he's writing high fantasy or something.
I just meant like a staple, like
world
that's gonna
building,
like stay around for years.
He's
that's
definitely
what
world building in Marvel right now. I will give him that. He's definitely building worlds as far as he created the Venom thing that is tying into his Thor run right now. I think he's going to write Hulk as well.
Oh, cool.
Or something. So that's all going to tie together, I think, and we're going to get, whatever he's planning on doing, whatever events he's coming up with. We already had the King in Black, which was his whole Venom Null fight and everything. So, I mean, he's definitely doing work. This is like a legacy. I'm not saying I'm not trying to take anything away from that. It's quality work.
There you go.
I just it doesn't click with me other than it's fun and I like to read it. But I'm not going to go, like, I wouldn't go out and be like, I need to know, I need to meet him and learn. I need to learn about the writer and how he comes up with these ideas.
You're selling him coming on this podcast, and I really appreciate it.
I know. Well, we can talk about it.
Yeah, he can change your mind. Come on, Donnie. We still want to talk to you.
Yeah.
But Babyteeth, it was fun.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Exactly. It was fun and I liked it. I don't have like a deeper need to see whatever, his mind was like with Alan Moore. When you're like, how did he come up with like Hellblazer and all this stuff? You're like, oh, he's like a weirdo with magic and shit or whatever. And like he's, I don't know, he's got finger rings and magician's hats or what. I don't know. Why is this guy so interesting himself? With Donny Cates, I'm like, yeah, that's the guy who writes Venom. Like I see his picture and I'm like, makes sense. Like I don't see a need to go like deeper into this world other than the face value kind of thing. So some creators are more like Neil Gaiman. He's got that aura, that
Johnny Cates is
Sandman.
building his aura.
Possibly. Maybe in the future I will feel differently. Just as of right now, I haven't. Also, I am not a big Marvel fan. All right? His biggest work is in Marvel.
That's true.
So
Matt has established that that's true. Like, he is a DC boy. Forever will be.
Maybe Johnny Cates will go make his. Okay, I'll say this. In the same way that Jack Kirby, his Marvel stuff, I'm like, okay. His fucking DC stuff, I'm like, the best thing I've ever read in my life. So, maybe it's that.
Maybe. So what you're saying is Johnny just needs to go and write some DC stuff for you, and then maybe that'll change your mind.
If Johnny Cates is run on Swamp Thing or The Question or something I like and blast it out of the park, fuck yeah, I would be down for that. So,
so Johnny Cates does some scary horror stuff. Johnny Cates's Dark Justice
run or something?
Dark Justice League with Swamp Thing, Constantine,
Dead Man, Zatanna.
Yeah, exactly. Just no Batman leading it. Just actual dark horror characters.
Yeah,
we're putting it out to the.
I'm down. So that's what I'm saying. Like, nothing has really connected with me personally to where I'm like, oh, this is like my favorite thing or anything. But there are definitely people who Venom was that character for them. So when Johnny Cates took over, it was like, holy shit,
he made Venom cool.
He made Venom fucking awesome again. MMVA or whatever. make Venom awesome.
You're trying to make a
we need a
slogan out of it.
A hat,
a black hat with white lettering.
Exactly, and like the spider, the red spider.
Yeah. Well, anyway, Babyteeth though. That's what we're talking about today. Babyteeth. It was fun. It's an
Aftershock comic.
Yeah,
which is a little known press. They do a lot of horror. If you watch our review channel on YouTube, I review a lot of Aftershock comics because they put out the horrors, and I like horrors.
Matt likes the horror
books,
horror comics,
yes.
Horror books, horror comics.
I love horror comics.
He loves comics about horror characters.
I'm sorry. Is it coming clear? I'm saying the word horror, not whore.
We were joking about this beforehand because the way he said it fast, I was like,
I'm a little stuffed.
What kind of comics are you reading today?
Allergies are hitting me, and saying the word horror might sound like the word whore. So, but yes, horror, scary comics. They do scary comics.
They do the spooky scary
comics. They do spooks. They do
the spooky scary comics.
Yeah. So,
and Babyteeth is one of them.
Babyteeth is one of them. It is one of his more well-known ones. It's gone on. I think it's still running. I think it's on like issue 33 now or something.
I'm going to dive in.
I think he takes breaks from it though and like comes back and writes. I'm not sure, but I think
I will have him on. Ask him.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. When he hears this, he's going to want to come on. So, but yeah, so we read this because first off, it's an Aftershock, so they do horror. Then second off, it's Johnny Cates. He's a good writer. Third off, the cover is a baby with fucking blood vampire teeth on his mouth and black eyes.
That got me. I was like, Matt was. We were trying to pick some newer stuff, and I was like, Matt, let's do that one. Johnny Cates, and it's like a vampire baby or something. I hadn't even read the synopsis yet, and then the synopsis is a little better. So we'll get into what it's about here.
Yeah. So basically, this starts off. The first issue is called Mother of God. We see the little catch-up page or the little intro page for that is a pregnancy test that has a pentagram in the middle of it, which is always fun. And then we see the main character. What's her name?
Sadie.
She is sitting somewhere. It looks kind of like an alley or something, but she's talking to her phone. She's making like a vlog for someone. But we realize kind of soon into this, it's for her baby. She's like, honey, it's me. There's some things you need to know. I'm your mom. I'm a big, or I need to tell you some things. I need to tell you everything. So she goes back, and this is how we find out, because obviously she's telling her baby, but it's also to tell the audience that this is how I got pregnant. She was 16 when she had this baby. She was like kind of a bookworm nerd or whatever.
Yeah, she's very book smart. She's a little nerdy. Yeah. Her father wasn't around much. He's kind of touch and go.
Well, he's a pilot.
Because he's a pilot, yeah.
And so her older sister's kind of the main adult in her life or whatever. And it turns out she gets picked on kind of by like the jocks and stuff in school. And while she's getting picked on, the guy pulls a book out of her bag to see what she's reading. What do you read, bookworm? Loser. And it says, what to expect when you're expecting. And then he's like, the fuck? Why do you have... And so he kind of looks extra scared on his face. I don't know if you picked up on that.
His name is Kevin, and he's like apparently like they know each other, obviously. Like, they've been
right,
he's been picking or something on her. We don't know the full extent yet.
or something on her,
Or something on her.
or something in her,
Something like that. Wow.
But yeah, anyway, he seems freaked out by the book. Then all of a sudden, her sister rolls up, and her sister is named Heather, right?
Yeah, Heather. She's got like it kind of looks like a Ford Bronco, old style, but tan, not a white Bronco.
Not a white Bronco, very, but the same style as that OJ famous Bronco.
Yeah.
And so she pulls up like about to hit him.
Oh yeah, like up in the grass because she's like leaning up against a tree, and she almost like acts like she's gonna hit him. She very much comes off as like a badass right away.
Right away, yeah. She's like, I don't know how they make her look like a badass. They don't show exactly how much of a badass yet.
It makes me, to me, I'm sorry to cut you off, but it just she kind of made me feel like she has the look of Buffy, who's been killing vampires for like 20 years,
a really long time. Yeah,
like she's got a leather jacket on and the blonde hair, but she's got like a little bit of worn in her face, and like she pulls out a cigarette.
Her face is like, no, I don't take shit from nothing. Like,
exactly.
This ain't nothing. You can't bullshit me or whatever.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, it's definitely like she's there to save her sister from this idiot, and then all of a sudden an earthquake happens. They're like, what the fuck? But it also happens right as Sadie has a contraction. So she is apparently farther along than anybody realized, because she's been hiding it with like her big clothes and stuff. Like she's been wearing like parkas and stuff. I don't know how hot it is where they're at, but everybody's wearing a jacket. But I don't know. It doesn't look terribly cold or anything in the environment. So, but she's been wearing layers. She says to hide.
It's Salt Lake City. There, it's gonna be a little cool.
A little cool, I guess. But yeah. So she's but there's no snow or anything. So she goes to the hospital. And right as this earthquake's happening, the sister like puts her in the car real quick, and she's like, something's wrong, something broke, and it's like, it's supposed to be water, right? And then she looks at her hands and it's blood. It's like, what the fuck? Like blood in her. That's not a good sign.
Yeah, that's not. Yeah, exactly. You shouldn't have a bunch of blood. So
yeah. Then like basically every time she has a contraction, earthquakes keep happening. Makes like the freeway freak out and like everybody, get in an accident and stuff. So she ends up having to run and carry her sister to the emergency room as she's still having these earthquake contractions. They have the baby, and like she basically passes out under the drugs or whatever. And has like this little like moment of like, like. Oh, like
it seemed like a fever dream kind of like it's like a rolling. It seems like a rolling like sea of like of blood basically.
And she's like, I think I died, and it was a place that was so bright, and I wasn't in any danger, and nothing was tangible. But then all of a sudden, I started to notice something, and as soon as I did, I heard it, a heartbeat for the first time, and I ran, and like basically she's hearing the baby's heartbeat for the first time, I guess, or maybe her own heartbeat. I'm not sure if she actually did die or come back to life or whatever. But basically, she fell towards the lights as she was having this baby. She wakes up, and all of a sudden it was over. She gave birth already, and she gets this baby, and she's like, "Oh my god!" And the baby has fucking black shark eyes.
Yeah,
I would definitely call this baby shark eyes.
Like they're blacked out eyes. So.
And no one seems weird about this. The doctor's not like, hold on. What the fuck's wrong with your baby's face?
Something's wrong with your baby's eye.
I would be like, kill it. It's evil, obviously. It's got black eyes. But yeah, basically she says, later a man would tell me the world trembled as the boy approached, and when he arrived, it cowered like a beaten dog. He also called you the King of Ash, the Void Lord, the Antichrist, the Final Son.
Yeah.
So
when the baby was born, all the earthquakes and everything that was going on stopped at the exact moment.
So that's why it had all the signs, like biblical signs of it being the Antichrist or whatever.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh my God, it's my baby, and she names him Clark. And right as she says Clark, her dad walks in and goes, Clark, after your great granddad, and she's like, yeah. And then she goes, no, after Superman. But like, so she names him just for Superman or whatever, which is interesting to think about. Like, if this baby doesn't grow up to be the Antichrist and like knows that it's,
Yeah,
like it's Hellboy, a Hellboy situation.
Yeah, Hellboy kind of that.
Like, is it nurture or nature? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, she has this baby now, and we cut back to her, and it turns out she's actually in Palestine 1 year from that moment, or 1 year from now. It says, but I'm assuming it's close to that moment.
Yeah, close to after having the baby.
Yeah, and she says, I'll be gone by the time you watch this. I hope you understand. We're like, wait, what's going on? So then we get issue 2 starts, and it starts with a page that's kind of like supposed to, keep you engaged. While it's like the first page shows all the action, and then it's like, what happens later? But we'll cut back to, so we get a page of the sister Heather beating the shit out of someone with like a baton, like not a nightstick, but one of those like the ones that pop out or whatever. Yeah. So she's beating the shit out of someone in like, it looked like a disco or something, but I guess it's like a laser tag place. And then we go back to the real world or whatever, or like the past in this issue, where she's talking to her sister, and she's like, do you know who the dad is and stuff?
Sister's like, nah, it's immaculate.
Yeah, I never had sex. I'm a virgin still or whatever. It's like, oh, okay.
Oh, okay, yeah. She's like, yeah, it's the one true king. It was funny the way she was coming at it. But the main thing here is that the baby is not eating. Yeah,
not eating, or when it does, it's not latching onto her breasts for sure, and then it doesn't it's like she doesn't know how to feed it with a bottle either. That's what it seems like at first, because we find out the dad is actually there as well now. They're home, and he's staying home. He hasn't been leaving on his job for a while, for a little bit, and so Heather leaves to go figure shit out or whatever, just be on her own. But Sadie is like, can't get this baby to stop crying, won't get it to eat. She goes to her dad, and he instantly is able to start feeding it, and it does take to the bottle. It starts eating. But then the problem arises later on that the baby keeps throwing up and stuff. And so it's like, the hell is going on?
Yeah, why is the baby not keeping down the food?
Yeah. Then we cut to you would assume this is going to happen anytime you have an Antichrist baby, but there is a secret Illuminati government council called the Silhouette.
The Silhouette.
And they say, he even alludes to Buffy in this. He says, it's like the Watchers Council, except they're creepy and evil and well-funded or whatever. So like the Watchers Council. And so, basically they're like, we know the epicenter is here. We need to see if we can get someone on it. What do they say? Do they actually say we need to get the?
Yeah, so they have footage from a hospital. They pinpoint even the hospital where the epicenter of it was, and they're like, oh look, this person was going inside at that time, and then the baby was born, and the one guy's like, oh, is this an Antichrist situation? And they're like, yes, well, we have to take care of this immediately. We can't have this happen. Again.
And they allude that an Arabic girl already had a thing like that, and they took care of that already. So basically, it's something that keeps happening unless they take care of it, right? So they keep having to, I guess, assassinate babies.
Yeah,
that are potentially the Antichrist.
And the one guy says something in particular that was key to me. It was we need to put this one down immediately before it begins to change. So obviously things have progressed with other entities in the past, and so they want to get on top of this now while something is still a baby. So
right, so they're like, hey, you think we need the coyote? And they're like, the coyote? Nah, we don't need the coyote yet. Why don't we get someone else? How about the prairie wolf? And then they cut to this girl working out in a trailer in the middle of nowhere. And her dad is waking up to whatever shitty song. What is it? It's Michael's. It's what's her name? No, it's me in the corner. What's that band? I'm losing my.
Oh, REM.
There you go. She's working out to REM. It's the end of the world.
Oh,
that's the song that
I did.
They show the lyrics, but you didn't put it together. But If you sing it like this, Brenton sticks an aeroplane. Lenny Bruce is not afraid. That's how you got to sing that song. So they have all the lyrics. So if you were smart and you read it like that.
Yeah,
perfect sense.
I didn't put that together.
Yeah, I was like, what does all these words mean? And I'm like, oh, it's got to be that end of the world song. And it was only because Lenny Bruce is there. And I'm like, the only song I know that has the word Lenny Bruce is that song. So, And then so it turns out the girl is actually the assassin named Prairie Dog. And so, or Prairie Wolf, I'm sorry, not Prairie Dog.
Yeah, I kept doing that too when I was reading it. I was like, is it Prairie Wolf, Prairie Dog? But these guys show up and he's like, I'm too busy. I'm not, or I don't do that.
The government comes and they're like, we need you, sir. We have a situation. He's like, I'm old, I'm retired, I'm not doing it. And they're like, no, we don't need you. We're looking for her. And then they're like, oh, we need your daughter, basically. So her name is Sydney. She is codenamed Prairie Wolf, and that is the end of this issue, right? I think it's like the main part of it, pretty much. But no, that's where then we cut back, and the baby has been spitting up the milk.
Yeah,
and they're like, "What's wrong? The babies keep spitting up the milk," and they're like, "We don't know what it wants." And she tries to get the baby to latch onto her breast again, and then she's like, "Hey, hold on, how? What are you doing?" And the baby fucking bites her tit, and like then we see it's got retractable fucking evil teeth on top of gross black baby eyes, all right? So shark eyes.
Yeah.
So what the fuck, baby?
It's like, oh, that's why it doesn't drink milk. It drinks blood.
Yeah. So it kept throwing up the milk, even though it was drinking it just for the dad, I guess, or the grandpa. It was trying to make grandpa happy.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, I feel this person. This person's trying to be good to me.
But what it really wants is her blood specifically, not anybody else's that we find out later. Then we see the next issue called Another Hellmouth to Feed. There's a lot of references to Buffy in this. I don't know if he did that on purpose. I mean, obviously he did it on purpose, but like is this kind of like a new kind of if you like that, you'll like this kind of thing. I don't know. Maybe.
Well, like I said, that's what the sister like made me feel right away. So.
Right. Yeah. So okay. Well, so then we kind of find out like how badass her Aunt Heather really is. Like how many times she's been arrested, and like the kind of family dynamic they had, like why the mom isn't there anymore. We don't know what happened, but basically it was obvious that the mom and the dad argued, but apparently the mom was like a real piece of work or something, because she's the one that everybody's like, yeah, fuck her.
Yeah, so she left pretty early in the family, and I guess Heather took that kind of the hard and went the opposite way of
She just held it inside.
Yeah.
Became hard. Like, I don't need to show emotions. I'm going to, like, anytime someone fucks with me, I'm going to fuck with them back. So, any boy that was terrible to her, she'd fucking smack him in the face with a hockey stick. She's been arrested a bunch of times for assault and drugs, and a lot of assault, it says.
Yeah, a lot of assault.
And, basically, like, Sadie says, like, oh, she's kind of like a superhero like that. Because to me, she would always protect me and all that kind of stuff. And so... Sadie now is the only one that knows, oh shit, this baby drinks blood, and now I'm going to sound crazy when I tell someone this, because the baby's going to starve to death if I don't figure something out.
Yeah. And the only person she trusts enough to tell is her sister. She's like, I'm just going to do it. So she's like, hey, this is going to sound insane, and then she goes into like...
She's like, Clark needs to drink blood.
Yeah.
Lots of blood. Like, she did the calculations, and it's something like just over a pint of blood a day that the baby needs at this size. And the baby, of course, is always going to keep growing, at least to a certain point, we're assuming. So maybe it'll be like a big demon baby or something. We don't know. But so if she does the math, that means that she's not going to be able to give the baby enough food, because humans can only lose a pint a day or something like that. Is that how it is?
Yeah, be able to like reproduce that, basically. So yeah,
like they can only regenerate a pint a day is what it is. So.
Yeah.
Then.
But Heather's like pretty much right away. She's like, no, like this makes sense. She's like.
This makes sense. I don't know if she's like, I believe you, but this is fucking weird, obviously.
But she's like, no, it's weird. I was there when it was born. There was crazy earthquakes, and then that all stopped the moment the baby was born, and it has teeth and whatnot. Like, there's definitely something weird about this baby. I believe you. Like, we're gonna figure this out. And I love that she like opens up the drawer, and she's got like.
Well, she's got heroin supplies because she used to do drugs. At least she says she's been clean for months. So she recently used to use drugs, and so that's like a thing. Maybe they kind of don't really touch on too much in this, but they just allude to that because she has the supplies to take blood out of someone and knows how to find a vein. So she takes blood out of. Is it out of herself first? Right? She does.
Yeah.
And then they give it to the baby. And the baby, like, freaks the fuck out. Like, I don't like this blood. This blood's gross or whatever. Starts freaking the fuck out. So we learn it's only got to be Sadie's blood right now, and maybe the father is who they say. And when the baby drinks that blood and cries, a portal opens up above the house, and a weird raccoon-like demon creature flops down. They make sure you see his butthole.
Yeah, they show the butthole.
I was like, was it a cat?
It made me think of the Bob's Burgers paintings.
Is it a cat coon or a rat cat?
A rat cat coon. I don't know. It's a creepy demon creature that kind of
They call it a demon raccoon in this, but
it's adorable, is what it is. To be honest,
I
like it.
Not if it tries to scratch your face out.
Well, yeah, yeah. Well, even like that, it's like The Simpsons, the little gremlin when Flanders Hill, it's like, oh, look at it, trying to claw my face off.
Yeah, yeah, true. But yeah, so we can imagine that this is here for a reason. Like the baby cried out in pain or whatever. This thing was sent to maybe protect it, or something like that. So
something, but it scampers off once it hits the ground, so we don't know.
Yeah, we don't know where it went. But basically they figure out, okay, it can't drink my blood, it's got to drink your blood and probably the father. So stop saying this is immaculate conception. Who the fuck is the father? And then they say who it is, and it's that jock that looked at the book and was like, what is this about? It's that guy. That guy apparently was able to use his jock wiles on her, make her feel special, like she's all that or something. And your hair would look so much better if it wasn't in a ponytail. And,
and it pulls her hair down. Oh well, look at that. She could be popular now.
Yeah. So he just basically was able to, I guess, get her to have sex with him. So Heather's like, oh, we need his blood, no problem. She like grabs a syringe, grabs 2 bottles, and then grabs brass knuckles, a baton, a gun. Like she's like, that motherfucker is gonna give us what we need.
We're gonna get some blood from him, and she's like, okay, but don't kill. She's like, I'm not gonna kill him. We're just getting some blood.
Yeah. So she leaves to go get blood from him, and passes the raccoon on the way, but also passes Prairie Wolf, codename Prairie Wolf, Sydney, the assassin who was looking for Sadie. And so this is where the beginning of the comic started, actually, or I guess it's issue 2.
Issue 2, yeah.
But issue 2 started with this laser tag place, and this is where Heather comes in and starts beating the shit out of Kevin in the middle of this place. And
we think it's Kevin, but it's actually a friend of Kevin.
Oh, yeah. She doesn't know which one.
Yeah, she's like, where is he? And he's like, oh, I'm sorry. And she's like, he's down at the docks or whatever.
And then Kevin comes up and says, hey, let my friend go. And then they call her a dyke. And
Jesus. I missed that.
And then they beat they look like they're going to beat the shit out of her for a second. And then she's like, hey, this is going to be awesome. And she like throws her baton down, and she has brass knuckles on her hand too. And then it's just her walking out of that place with blood, I guess, or like at least a location. I'm not sure.
Yeah, she finds out where he is. I think it's her cell phone.
Yeah, basically he's in hiding because he basically was just trying to lay low until she had the baby. Because she's like, oh my God, he has a baby. She's having a baby. We had sex. She's reading a book about this. It's my baby. So he's actually in hiding at a marina. That's what she beat all his friends up in order to find out where he was. And when she gets to the marina, she's looking for him. She goes down the steps, and she's like, I can hear your fucking music, asshole. And she goes down there, and Kevin is dead. Kevin's whole chest is fucking alien burst out of it or something. Like, we don't know what's going on. But basically, he has been mutilated.
Yeah, like it brutally. Like, I mean, all the rest of his body is intact technically.
It looks like someone grabbed his sternum from the top of his ribs and pulled it down and out.
Yeah,
along with his intestines and everything. So there are no organs inside of his cavity.
That's true. Yeah, it's an empty cavity. You can see all the way to the back of the rib cage.
Yeah. So then issue 4 starts with her, Sadie having enough blood at least to start giving the baby, but she's taking way too much out, right?
Yeah.
And Dad comes home from his pilot shop because he's gone back to that since the baby was able to feed and everything. And he comes up, he's like, "Hey, what's going on?" She's like, "Dad," and she doesn't want him to see because she's got fucking baby bottles full of blood. And so she's like, this looks weird. Let me explain. And she tells him, and he's like, oh, dear Lord, what a normal person would say. You've cracked. Like, I mean, it's not your fault, honey. We love you, but like, you can't feed a baby blood.
Pretty well,
know,
but he's
we got to take you to the doctor. We got to make sure Clark is okay. Like, you can't be giving your baby blood. This is not good. And he's like, I love you, but you got to let me help you. And she's like, got Clark. And she's like, no, you can't. You can't take him. You can't do this. And then she passes out because there's too much blood missing. And basically, he's just kind of freaking out, like, what the fuck? And he's trying to call Heather, but he can't get a hold of Heather because she's standing there and she's a little busy looking at Kevin being dead or whatever.
Yeah, she's trying to figure things out right now.
Yeah, she's like, little busy. Sorry, Dad. She doesn't know why he's calling. But she starts looking around and she's like, okay, it's not, this isn't going to be good. She's trying to look around to see if there's anything. And then all of a sudden the cops show up. So this is like planned, obviously, or something. Or maybe the boys called the cops on her and said,
worst case at this point, yeah, she's there. She's got a bag full of stuff to take blood and a gun on her, and now the cops show up to the marina. So she's like, fuck.
She's freaking out because obviously she gets arrested. That's bad. Her phone gets dropped in the water. I don't know if that's important, but they kind of make it seem important because they highlight her phone.
Well, it gets dropped in the water because
I'm saying, but I think it's important because, like you were saying.
Oh yeah, because out of nowhere, someone comes up, takes her, puts their hand over her mouth, and then you see this kind of like silhouette of like someone who's kind of got like long flowy hair and very muscular body, and is like pulling her down into the water.
It's Angel.
Yeah, he's very because he's got long flowy hair. It's
joking.
It's like a Fabio kind of, but it does look like he has claws on his hands.
Yeah. He's got very muscular calves, and so. But yeah, we see the phone fall down and it says, missed call, and then there's a text from the dad saying, asking Sadie to the taking Sadie to the emergency room. Where are you? Call me. Because he's freaking out. And then, as the ambulance is coming to his house, because he's called 911 for Sadie and everything, the prairie wolf sees this and just takes fire on the ambulance, shoots them, kills them. And now I guess she knows what house it was or whatever. So she breaks down the door and is about to shoot Sadie. She's like, give me the baby, and the baby's in the dad's hands. And so he's like no. And then I thought this was a little weird. Like, why would a fucking assassin be like, how old are you? Because the daughter is like, I'm the mother. And she's like, how old are you? Like, she's taken aback that a 16-year-old would be pregnant. I'm like, I don't think an assassin would give a fuck.
Because of how old she is, because she's apparently like 17, 18.
Well, I would be more surprised that she's a 17, 18-year-old assassin than I'm a 16-year-old pregnant girl.
That's true.
That happens a lot more often than assassin. So it's a little weird. But either way, she's like, I will kill you if I have to. She has some bad habits with the gun to scratch her head with the gun.
Yeah.
She scratches her head with the gun. And then Sadie's holding the baby, and the dad's like, look, you're not taking this baby. And she's like, back the fuck up, old man. Like, I don't know what you think you are, in the Air Force or whatever, but you are not going to hurt me like I can hurt you. Like, you ain't going to punch a girl. I know you're like a Captain America guy. And he's like, she starts to give this speech about like, I've beat up men bigger than blah, blah, blah. And he just like grabs the gun and grabs her face and tries to like throw her down on the ground, which he does. He like shoves her
into the table and breaks the table, the coffee table,
and possibly her jaw or something. But I always thought like in this scene he looks like Nick Fury.
He kind of does look like old,
or even like Venture Brothers caricature of Nick Fury, whoever that guy was. I can't remember. There's a caricature from Nick Fury.
Is it Brock?
No, Brock's not Nick Fury.
Not Nick Fury. Okay,
come on, man.
I don't remember. I haven't watched Venture Brothers.
Brock is Race Banner.
Yeah,
the guy from
Johnny
Quest.
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, he looks like that. He looks like Nick Fury or whatever. He's got like a brace on his leg. That's why, because he's from when he was in the Marines, and so he's kind of kicking her ass, which I thought was funny. He's like Marine Corps actually, because she's like, "What are you, from the Air Force or whatever?" So, but as he's like kind of like looking at Sadie, and he's like, "Are you okay?" And she's like, "Yeah." She takes a piece of this broken table and puts it through his bad knee, which I was like, oh my God. Like, what they show, he will never be able to walk again.
Yeah.
Now, he does walk later on, so I'm kind of like, I call bullshit on that. But anyway, she pulls I don't know where this was because it wasn't in any of the shots prior.
No, she had the gun. Yeah, it was on her back one, and he threw her down through the table.
Oh, okay, I got you. I missed that part.
Well, it's an action shot then because you're like flipping. I get it.
Right, yeah. I just saw her, like, now when she gets up, she didn't have the gun on her. I guess it fell off. I don't know. The sling broke or something. Cheap slings. That's what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
So either way, she grabs the assault rifle and points it at her, and she's like, basically, I told you I'll fucking kill you. I don't care. So the dad then grabs her again as she starts firing, and she misses Sadie and everything. And Sadie's like, Dad? And he's like, fucking run, Sadie, run. And so she has this big epic fight while Sadie's running out. And we don't see what happens then. We just hear
yeah, so we know the gun goes off and something happened.
Yeah. And then the next issue starts, and we get a little flashback of what the household was like. Like we had said, there was just arguing between the dad and the mom a lot. Apparently enough so that like Heather would just sit with music on, like on headphones, while she fed Sadie, the baby, and like give her like spaghetti and stuff. And then if it got too crazy, like apparently the mom would like hit stuff or throw shit or something, because she's like, once it got too loud, she would just put that over like the headphones on Sadie's head. And then she's like, yeah, remember the happy stuff. And the baby would be like, music, whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, no family fight.
What would she be listening to if this came out in 2019 or something? What do you think? What do you think Heather listened to when she was a teenager? Keep in mind, Heather's in her 20s now. So.
Yeah, okay, so that's like early 2000s music.
You think it was Limp Bizkit?
Maybe.
You think it was some new metal, or do you think it was a little later, like some The Used or My Chemical Romance or something?
Maybe, or maybe she was cool and old school, and she liked some of the old groups to her. Maybe she listened to some 90s grunge or like.
Yeah, those old classic rock.
I don't know. Yeah. Well,
I'm just joking. I just think it was funny. I'm like, I wonder what, because she's listening to headphones that look like they're from the 70s.
Yeah.
Like they're these giant corded headphones. So I was just wondering, like, what do you think she was listening to? But anyway, so we cut to, now we're back where we were. Sadie is running with the baby, and you know, the shooting stops, and she goes, Dad? And then we cut back to the dad fighting her, and Dad is fucking keeping his own against this assassin who's supposed to be like a world-class assassin.
Yep. And he kicks her with his just recently
bad leg
that I
He's
thought
standing
that was
on it, no problem too. So, and he gets the gun from her, and he says, put it down. I don't want to kill you, but I will if you make me. Believe me, I've survived a lot worse than you, kiddo. And I thought right there he looks like Nick Nolte. His face looks like Nick Nolte in this.
Oh, in that one?
Yeah, in the panel where like that's who we're playing in the movie. Or
yeah,
like that might be who they use for this. But either way, then she just pulled. I don't know why he lets her put the gun, the assault rifle that she has up to shoot him, and starts talking to him. Like, so now they both have a gun looking at each other, and then all of a sudden you see car lights coming through the window, and who is it but the sister Heather in her Bronco runs through the window.
She got a thing about like coming to get people, but actually she hits this time.
Yeah, she hits this girl into the wall and crushes her.
Yeah, I mean she's on top of her hood. She looks dead.
Yeah, and so yeah, it basically killed this prairie wolf.
Prairie wolf, almost said prairie dog.
Yeah, I almost said it again. Well, now she's the prairie dog.
Now she is. Yeah.
All right. She got demoted because she got beat by an old Marine and a girl who has a Bronco. So, but yeah, basically,
I like this scene because Heather gets out and Sadie comes walking up right as that happened too. So there's like this family dynamic starts, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, like you guys are both okay." And then she's like, "Hold on, I have to start yelling now." She hands Clark over to her dad, and she's like, "Where have you been? You left me with the baby. Dad wasn't here. I don't know what's going on. I told Dad what's going on now, and he thinks I'm crazy. And then this person came to try to kill us. And what's going on? Where the to be interrupted
by a dude who steps out who's got a nice purple suit on, and he happens to be that flowing haired motherfucker who saved her from the cops. He's lighting a cigarette. He's very much a John Constantine guy.
Yeah, very much.
He's smoking a cigarette. He's lighting a cigarette. His eyes are blood red, so we know he's some kind of demon or someone. But he's like, oh, just so you know, the woman who you impaled on your vehicle is known as the Prairie Wolf. She's an incredibly dangerous assassin employed by the Silhouette, who are now after you. So we get like a big kind of info dump to them. We've already known all this as the people reading it. But basically, they are, the people who stop the afterlife or whatever, or what's it called?
The Antichrist.
The Antichrist from taking power and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So
he basically is like, yeah, by the way, like stuff's gonna get complicated because your baby isn't who it seems.
Yeah. And so even though the Prairie Wolf is dead, he's like, you know what? We got to bring her back to life, which I can do because I'm fucking awesome.
And we find out he's a warlock.
Yeah, he's not a mage or a magi, but a warlock. Gotta make sure we separate those two. Can't have DC suing you over that. But yeah, so this dead body of the Prairie Wolf, he's like, okay, we're gonna bring her back, and then and they're like, why would we bring her back? She's just gonna try to kill us, and he's like, no, I'm gonna like make her think that they're all dead and everything, that you guys are all dead and she completed her mission. Because if you kill her, they're just going to keep sending assassin after assassin, each one better and better and better after you, until they do succeed.
So we need to like nip this in the bud now.
Yeah. So he does his magic and he looks at her in the face and he says, I have sealed your wounds, Sydney. Now you will return to your employers and tell them that you were successful in your mission, that the child and her entire family are dead. And then Sydney says, all dead. And then you will also feel terrible regret for the rest of your life for having killed that child. You will quit this life, renounce violence in all forms, and return to your schooling. And she goes, school, yes. And then he's like, good, now leave. So she then wakes up and is in tears and like kind of looks at her hand or whatever, and then runs out of the place, not seeing the family standing there. And basically that's where like we're left with that character. She's gonna go back. We're like, oh, that's great. And now the baby, it's funny, they say like, what do we call you, or and he's like, why don't you call me your paladin or whatever, like some like extreme name. He's like, what the fuck are you talking about? And they're like, well, we have to go to the castle, and speaking of which, you guys have an airplane we could use and all this stuff. And they're like, what are you wait, castle, what are you talking about? And then turns out he like kneels down to the baby and he's like, oh, the world trembled as the boy approached, and when he arrived, it cowered like a beaten dog. And they're like, what are you saying? He's like, it's your castle, Holy Mother, and it is the castle of the king. And so it turns out the baby is, Antichrist, and this is a demon or warlock that wishes them.
And there's another secret society that he's part of called the Way.
Yeah.
And they're the ones who are
the protectors of these.
Yeah.
Apparently they've sucked because all the other babies have died.
I guess so, yeah.
So they're 0 for 45 or whatever. So then we cut to the prairie dog prior to the prairie wolf.
Yeah. The prairie wolf, she's walking down the street like sobbing, but obviously gonna go back to her headquarters or whatever.
Right, and tell them what happened. And then
just as she's getting there, she
stops on the corner.
Yeah.
To for traffic or whatever. And then as she stops, we see what's sitting there next to her, but
the little demon raccoon thing.
Yeah, and it attacks. It fully kills her, and so it ends up she didn't actually get to go back. It fucked up the whole plans, whatever this was. If it was supposed to be on the mage's side or the warlock side, we don't know. But basically it fucks up his plans because they're like, hey, no one will be after us now, and now she didn't return, so they're going to send someone else.
Well, I assume, like you said, like with the baby freaked out, and so like maybe it came through to like protect it or something, or it's on the side of the baby, obviously,
right?
And
it doesn't know everything that the Way is doing,
yeah. So it's like, oh, what this fucking person tried to hurt them and then killed it or whatever. But it was it's cute, and then it like how these teeth like pop out of it and it's all creepy.
Yeah. So then we cut back to after it eviscerates her, he says like, the Prairie Wolf's dad is the guy that would send next, and he's no joke. He's the Coyote. So it turns out the guy that they were like, the Coyote, no, we can't send that person. Send Prairie Wolf. So that was his daughter. So now we know the retired old guy was the Coyote.
Yeah, and obviously he's gonna come up later now. but her phone is dying. Like we go fall back.
We cut to the present now, where she was at the beginning in Palestine, and she has the baby's bear and her backpack, but no baby, and we see her phone is dying, and she's like, okay, hold on, I gotta hit pause because I gotta charge my phone. Then we see that I'm assuming it's the airplane that they were on crashed. So I don't know. That we just see a airplane crash and she's walking towards it. It's still on fire. So
I think it have to be something else, just because
it's been a year.
It's been a year, so
I
maybe they're escaping from something else.
I couldn't tell you, but that's the end of this volume. And then we find there are thousands of covers of this book. So.
I will say for this, because usually I like when they show the cover art, and sometimes they're.
But when there's one or two covers, you're like, oh, this is nice because I get to choose between pictures of different artists about the book. But yeah, there was a lot for.
There's like 20, but they were like all good covers. I will say this one definitely has the most variant covers of a comic that I've seen in a while. That all the variant covers are really good. Yes. So good on all these artists. I'm glad they got to highlight. I'm just saying they got on with Donny Cates, who is like the guy right now.
Right. Well, I think at the time he wasn't quite the guy yet. I think he started writing this before he was the guy.
Okay, well,
so no, but it's good. Like, it was like his, up and coming stuff.
Yeah, but everybody, if they're picking it up now in this volume form, then they're still all their arts get to showcase and like so people can see. I'm just saying they're part of this. Like they have that little bit of oomph now because of his influence now. But anyway, Babyteeth was freaking cool. I actually really liked this. Like it was way. Like, I went into it thinking, oh, baby vampire, and then I was like, oh, it's an antichrist story, actually. That's kind of cool.
Even better.
It's like, it's like...
it's cooler than a vampire.
Yeah, it's like this, what is that, the Seventh Sign? You ever see that movie with Demi Moore?
Seventh Seal?
Or Seventh Seal, pardon me, that's right.
Yes, I have, John.
Yes.
Because I know the name of it.
But better. Because that movie is okay. It's kind of meh. But I like the antichrist story, and I like that, it's a different story. It's not like vampire zombies. It's not a lot of the normal stuff that we're getting. It's just, hopefully two young kids who, ended up, having sex, and then the Antichrist came out of.
Yeah, how would that be if you were like some dumb jock and you're like, I just had sex with this girl, and then it's the Antichrist, baby.
Yeah, that's true. Can you imagine? Yeah, just be like, like a high school fling or something, and then. Fuck it! It happened to birth the Antichrist.
Why? Why me?
Yeah,
but that's why. He didn't have much time to think about it.
Yeah, because that's true. Because he did.
He didn't even know. He just thought I'm hiding because I'm an asshole, and I'm gonna hide in a boat until this passes over.
I definitely, and there's enough in whereas you were kind of like, that's some popcorny. Like I'm invested in. Like I want to know what happened to him. I want to know what creature or thing did that. Like
I assume that Warlock did that, but he was on the boat. So I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
I don't know.
We don't know.
I mean, because it needs blood to feed, so you would think like the society would think that too. Like, oh, maybe like the dad's blood. You take the dad, you hook him up to a machine and like pump his blood. Like the vampires in after what is the Daybreak or Daybreakers? What is that? Daywalkers. Where they have like human blood banks and they just like always like in stasis or whatever.
I like it.
Anyway, but like I liked the Antichrist story. I liked
it's it's a genre that doesn't get a lot of play nowadays.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because it's religious based or something, but I think maybe people are more like science based monsters are kind of what's in or has been what's in for the last couple years, 20 years or so.
Yeah.
So like maybe like zombies, it's a disease or virus or something, or like vampires, it's a virus. So like this is just like mystical. So maybe we'll get that coming back or something.
Yeah. Either way, I'm down. I really enjoyed it. I like the art in this a lot too. I know it's not Donny Cates, like the guy who's been doing a lot of stuff with now.
No, it's not Ryan Stegman.
Yeah,
that guy. This is Marvel guy.
Yeah,
this guy. Fuck, what is his name?
I feel bad. I wrote it down too.
I didn't even look. I looked, but it was like I forgot to mention.
No, I totally wrote down Gary Brown.
There you go. Yeah, Gary Brown. He does some good work.
He's got some solid work on it, and like the main cover
it matches the tone.
For sure. Like he makes that baby really fucking creepy. So
yeah,
like he does his job for sure.
Well, I think you put solid black eyes on any baby, and it'll look pretty fucking creepy.
I don't know. I think I would still be a cute baby if I had all black eyes.
Well, you're biased.
You probably would be a cute baby. I don't know what. Now I think about it, I don't know if I've ever seen a baby picture of you.
You don't need to see a baby.
We need to change that. I need to see a baby
Why
picture.
do you want to see a baby picture?
I don't know. I just want to see. I want to see a baby picture now. I just realized I've been best friends with you for fucking 15 plus years. I don't think
we're
I've
guys.
ever seen.
I don't need to look through photo journals of me with you.
No, I'm not saying I need to sit down with your mom and like be like, oh, show me all your old photos.
You
but
would
like,
do that, John.
I might actually.
You would show up randomly at my mom's house and be like, "Hey, Miss Hanson, can I? I thought we could have some tea, and I'll keep you company, and let's look through photos of that as a baby." You fucking no, we're not doing. Anyway, back to the fucking story.
Anyway, Babyteeth, I enjoyed it.
What would you give?
I know. I want to hear what. You
want to hear? Okay.
Because I already know what mine is, but I want to hear.
I'm gonna give this book a 6.5.
Okay.
Not okay. And I'll explain.
That's a solid.
Let me explain myself. Yeah, a 5 is it's a average comic. You might have had some rough parts or whatever, but it's good. It's a normal comic. Everything's feasible in it. This was, a 6 is like it's better than that. It's good. The art's better. Everything's better. The writing's better. I thought the writing was even better than that, but not a 7. Like to me, a 7, 8, 9 are like getting into those higher areas of things that I think are like genius levels. And I'm like, this was just fun popcorn comic where you're like, I don't have to think too much. They're going to tell me everything I need to know. It's, and I can read it really fast. I think I read this thing in it's 5 issues long, this trade, and I read it in 25 minutes or 30 minutes or something. It was just like, oh, this is great. It's a fun story. It's an action kind of movie or whatever. So, I could totally see this becoming like a movie or a show or something if they do it right and be cool. There's enough diverse characters as far as women and stuff in this that would be good right now anyway. So, but I think a 6.5 is good for me. I could bump it to a 7 potentially if later on it gets more. I like religious stuff, like religious horror stuff, like supernatural stuff like that. So, I even like Hellblazer or whatever. Those are my favorite kind of comics. So, if they get more into that,
it has the potential for you.
There's definitely a lot of lore that if they throw that in, I could definitely bump to a 7, 7.5, whatever. So because the art's good, writing's solid, it's like super solid. So, but as of right now, this first volume, it was just like I will continue. It makes me want to continue reading. It makes me like it, and I think it's a solid book, especially from an indie publisher like Aftershock.
Yeah.
So, what are you going to give it, John?
I don't get Matt got into these points, and I don't do the points very often. I'm like whole numbers guy. So
shut the fuck up, John.
I'm kidding. Matt has to give nuances, so he puts them down or up a half a point just to fit in some extras. Whereas I'm going,
you know what, John? We'll do it your way.
No,
is it a 1 or it is a 0? All right, it's a 1, it's good, or it's a 0, it's bad.
I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding. I've done points now too. You pulled me over, but for this one, because you were making me think, was I going to change it? But no, I'm going to stick. I'm going to give this one an 8. Like I really enjoyed this,
good, yeah.
And I'm giving it an 8 because it's the intro story. Because
so can you move up to like a 9 or a 10 depending on what?
The series could.
Wow.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this, and again, I'm only giving it an 8 because it's the intro story. Like I needed to know the backstory, I guess, about her and like how that happened, but that isn't as important as to obviously what the baby is and what like the lore that's there and what it's going to become.
Right. Also, like what is this book going to be about? Is it going to be about the Antichrist coming and it's not as big of a deal, or it's not what we thought it was going to be?
Yeah.
Like how's he going to twist it? Is there going to be a twist? What's he going to do to it? Is it just going to be straightforward or what? I'm interested to see what happens with that.
Yeah. And like you were saying, like, so like maybe, yeah, they've stopped all these antichrists before, but yeah, is it necessarily going to be like that, or is it going to be a circumstance where like, oh, well, it had a really good like mom and upbringing, so like maybe actually like,
is it a Hellboy scenario?
Yeah, is it gonna not necessarily be like evil baby, it would be like chaotic neutral baby.
Is he a non-Soon Rama? Yes, but does he have to take the mantle?
No, exactly. So yeah, I am curious to see where it goes, and I really enjoy it. Like I will probably end up actually buying some of this series.
Yeah. Well, cool. Yeah. We could probably read some more of this later on because, like I said, I want to see what happens. So,
okay. Well, yeah. If you do, then yeah, I say we read one a little bit down the road.
Yeah, down the road
for the holidays for
Christmas. Yeah, the Antichrist.
The baby coming.
Perfect. I like it. We'll do that for sure then. All right. If you guys have any comments, questions, or suggestions, you can email us at planetransandcomicbooks, all one word, @gmail.com.
And don't forget about our Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube channel for exclusive content. Matt's pumping them out. He's got some really good reviews going on there. I am going to be doing some short things coming up here pretty soon. John's Short Shorts, I think we were going to call it.
Yes, we came up with the name John Short Shorts for all you guys.
Yeah.
So we're thinking about him doing some quick reviews like on TikTok that will be also on YouTube Shorts.
Yeah. So,
and so check those out.
just like, real quick takes on a lot of things. So yeah, we have some things that we're working on. And don't forget, if you want to support us, if you feel so inclined, we have our coffee website.
KO-FI.
KO-FI. What is it? But it's KO.
.com.
Yeah.
It's KO-FI.com/Planes, Trades, and Comic Books.
Yep.
And if you go there, I put updates every week that has all of our content all in one area. So even if you don't want to donate and you just follow us on there, you'll get the update in your email, and it will have everything that we put out in case you think you missed something. So we put all the audio, all the video of everything out. And then if you want to donate, there's one-time donations. If you don't want to donate, but you want to do a monthly thing, for us, we have a $2 tier. We're going to have a higher tier. I'm not sure what the price is going to be, but we are looking to doing reaction videos of the series Justice League Unlimited. So we will be putting that up in the near future as we get them done, and so that's going to be exclusive to Coffee if you want to be on that tier and check it out.
Yeah, we might put them like after they've been out for a while.
I think we'll wait like a month or something. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see what the timeline is, but we'll definitely put them out later on YouTube. But originally, they're just going to be for Coffee. Yeah,
if you like hearing our voices, like seeing our goofy faces on occasion, and then you can get some of our real time. Buddy reaction and calling each other names.
Yeah, there you go. Calling each other names, making fun of John. That's what I do.
Yeah, mostly. That's mostly what this channel is about. Reading comics and making fun of John.
Yes. So if you like to do that and you like to see me do that, check those out on Coffee and whatnot as they come out. And like we said, next week we will be doing My Friend Jeffrey Dahmer, or just My Friend Dahmer, I think is the name of the book. So check that out if you guys want to read it. I know it's available digitally. I don't know how easy it is to find in print. But if you want to check that out beforehand or just let us spoil it for you next week, that's what we're going to do. So we will see you on the next one.
On the next one.
Bye.